baggage. From your perspectives, what is baggage?
So baggage to me is anything that impacted you in a previous relationship that you're carrying forward into a new relationship that hasn't been remedied.
Ditto. It's the stuff that, I mean, you bring into a relationship that has nothing to do with the current relationship, but you're allowing it to impact.
I think baggage is, it can be trauma from childhood experiences as well that you can bring into a relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be from a previous relationship.
Okay. And with that being said, my three guests, I want to let you go ahead and introduce yourself, starting with you at the top, Jay. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, who you are, where are you, what do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm Jay Hobbs, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I live in Washington, D.C., and I've been here since 2007. Love the area, and my background profession is real estate sales.
Hey, I'm Janita Pritchett. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I currently live in Beltsville, Maryland, just outside of DC. I've been here for many, many years. I guess it's becoming home. We'll call it that for now. I am a chemist by trade, but I work as a program manager and also a chemistry professor at Montgomery College.
So I'm Jay Blue. I'm a Navy veteran. I live in California, originally from Chicago, Illinois. My background is in HR currently. I just finished my undergrad in criminal justice and I'm looking to join the FBI pretty soon.
Okay, so thank you all for being here with me, having this discussion. My first question to you all is, do we really need closure to move on to a new relationship? Do you feel that that's important or healthy, moving into a new relationship, having closure?
I definitely feel like it's extremely important to have closure. I've actually found myself not having closure in situations and doing exactly what we were talking about, bringing baggage into a situation that I hadn't addressed, or at least healed from. So, yeah, it's extremely important. So I'll go with that.
I can understand that. It varies for different people. In my opinion, some people carry, pain or baggage differently, and if you don't know how to compartmentalize or get rid of it, it makes it hard.
Yeah, you can think you're moving on, but if you are being emotionally affected by something that you feel you have to be severed or closed from, then yeah, that's going to be hard going into the new relationship. So it's extremely important to get the closure, and honestly figure out you may not get that from them. So what do you need to do for yourself in order to create that closure?
I'm gonna piggyback on what Ms. Janita said. You don't necessarily have to get closure from that person. In my opinion, closure is more like healing for yourself so that you can move on. You don't necessarily have to be in contact with that person to seek closure or to be healed to move on to another relationship.
Well said. Okay, so that goes into my next question. When going from a past relationship, do you feel it is important to have the truth or answers when leaving, going into a new situation? Do you really feel like you need to know why it didn't work or what you didn't do or did do to make it not work? Do you feel that's important?
So yeah, I don't think one should necessarily impact the other. So if you need to get the answers, yeah, you do, but that should not impact your abilities to look forward. Because you may never get those answers. So you have to, for me, know whenever you have to just walk away from it because you're not going to get the answer that you want. So
I like that you said knowing when to walk away, because I've seen firsthand and I've dealt with firsthand that sometimes situations end abruptly. You don't know why. You know, you could just stop getting calls, or somebody could just not want to see you anymore. And that could drive some people crazy, not knowing, you know, because if it's something that you're trying to take away from me, if you're trying to take something away, which I try to take something away from each relationship to better myself, if you don't know what you're taking away from it, to me, it just feels like it's wasted time. So
I really kind of feel like there are, like, we already had the answers. Like, we know what happens. In terms of like the details of specifically why a person, you know, or it doesn't work out with someone, we may not have all of that. But when you look back on things, like, you know, they say hindsight is 20/20, you can kind of figure it out. It may emotionally make us feel better to want to hear it from someone, but I don't necessarily know that that is gonna make it any easier or make it any better. I think oftentimes we look for closure in situations where where we're looking for someone else to provide closure, but it's really about you providing your own closure about that situation. Sometimes you just have to let things go and, you know, allow time to heal the wounds and, you know, open up other chapters in different relationships and, you know, see what happens from there.
I just think we need to trust the process a little bit more in relationships. A lot of times you go into a relationship thinking that that's going to be your soulmate, when in reality that person is just in your life for a season to teach you a lesson. And sometimes you're seeking closure just because you're not really fully ready to accept what the lesson was, or even to, you know, take it for what it is. That person is not the person for you. Yeah, I think you just have to be aware of that. Everybody's not going to be in your life forever. Some people are just there to teach you a lesson. It's just a season sometimes.
this is a question that is really big, and I've always personally come across people asking this question, or I've seen people doing this so much that I had to ask this question to the group. Why do people compare their new partners to their exes?
So I feel like I think we compare everything. Like, no matter if it's an ex or a car that you're driving, you want to have like some benchmark to compare a situation to figure out if, you know, if you've improved or, you know, if you've gone backwards, you know, or if you're just staying stagnant. So there are different qualities in people that can stand out over other qualities in other people. So even though we use it as a comparison, I think everybody probably has maybe like a baseline of what they want, like on a surface level. Like if you were to just spit off 3 things that you want to have in a person, I think everybody should be able to do that. And then there are certain intricacies that you learn about a person moving forward that will show you things that you didn't even know to expect or know to want, you know. So it can be positive, it can be negative, but it's good to have a baseline, and all we are is just a composition of our experiences. So every experience that you had, there's probably something that you're taking from it moving forward in your, whether it be a relationship or life. You know, I think we feel like we're trying to not feel like, I know that we use situations to determine how we're going to be able to move.
Yeah, I like that you said there are certain traits and things that pop up with people that you notice that you either like or can't or don't like. And so when you're doing that comparison, I think it's kind of that idea of, well, I've seen this happen before. So I touched it before and it was hot. So do I want to keep on touching? I keep seeing the same trait, the same thing that reminds me of my ex, and we didn't, you know, it obviously didn't work. So, or, you know, trust that it's going to be hot, or just explore. So I don't think you should assume that they're always going to behave the same, or the same outcome will come from whatever action you're comparing. But it is good to be aware of things that just don't mesh well with you. So, or do mesh well, things that you require or need or want in a relationship. And if you're not getting that, and you were getting that from an ex.
I would say if I was to compare an ex with a current partner, it would be for the sole purpose of measuring growth in my relationship experiences. If it's something that I didn't like in an ex-partner, I would compare that to my current partner to see if he's improving or if it's simply the same experience. I think that's kind of important as you go through different relationships so you can make sure that you're not repeating the same cycle.
Okay. So in doing that, since you all agree that it's a good measuring point, how much of that should weigh on how you go forward with your new partner? Because I mean, if in the beginning, everybody shows the same traits, everybody's doing the same thing, everybody's putting on their best face, everybody's sending their representative. So if you're seeing the same things, how long should you wait before you actually start measuring? Or how much weight should that measuring actually play within you moving forward with this person and knowing if they're supposed to be in your life, for what reason or for what season?
All right, so I think that people start measuring as soon as you meet the person. Like, they always say the first impression is most important. You can kind of figure out the gist of who someone is in like the first 30 seconds. So even before you actually get to know them mentally, just from a physical standpoint and body language standpoint, where they carry themselves, like you're looking at that first, and that's what's going to draw and attract you to that person. Once you engage in, conversation with someone, then I think you're listening to, you're trying to figure out like what wavelength they're on. Are they playing games? Does this person have their stuff together? Or does it at least seem that way? So you go from that to having actual experiences with people, whether that's, a date or somebody just coming over, you having dinner, and you're just talking or whatever it may be. I think in those situations, you are probably excited, just having fun, but at the same time, your subconscious is taking note of that experience. And I think we do that on each experience up until maybe like a certain point where things just kind of start to blend together because you've decided, hey, like I really like this person, so I'm not keeping track, as heavily, because I want to be present and in the moment. But even throughout that, there's going to be, ups and downs in the situation where you're going to start comparing and contrasting the interactions, the relationship, all that kind of stuff. So I don't necessarily think it's ever too soon to start, but I really feel like you need to keep it in perspective. Like I've been in enough relationships to know that, in the first year, you're probably going to get the best that you're going to get